In the fall of 2018, I set foot on Harvard's campus with an ambitious goal: help move the world's richest university to embrace climate justice. Together with a handful of like-minded peers, I worked to relaunch the Fossil Fuel Divest Harvard campaign and building, thank you, woo, yeah, let's get some activist energy in here, please. So building on the work of so many students, alumni, faculty, and community members before us, we employed every tactic imaginable, from having a pancake protest at the university president's house to storming the field of the 2019 Harvard-Yale game, and even filing a legal complaint with our state's attorney general. And yet, the university remained intransigent. In the beginning, I could never have imagined that in the fall of 2021, I would open my email one day in English class to actually find that Harvard had pledged to divest and decarbonize its $53 billion endowment. Having ripple effects on higher education and financial institutions around the world. The victory was a testament to the power of young people, to the power of our communities, to the power of grassroots organizing. And yet, thrilling and powerful as that victory was, it felt incomplete. We always knew divestment was only the first step. Then and today, even as Harvard and so many of our universities have pledged to exclude big oil from their endowments and made sweeping commitments to climate action and our futures, they continue to partner with the companies setting our planet on fire. Let's hear some boos for that, please. Yeah, there we go. Right now, our universities are awash in fossil fuel money. Last month, Fossil Free Research, the organization I work with, and Data for Progress, put out a report showing that 27 universities received roughly $700 million of industry funding between 2010 and 2020. That includes some of our universities right here in the Bay Area. Shout out to University of California, Berkeley with $154 million worth of that funding, and Stanford with $56 million. Yeah. Where is this money going? Oftentimes, it's going to climate change-related research and programming. To name a few examples, Stanford's program on energy and sustainable development, MIT's Energy Initiative, and Columbia's Center for Global Energy Policy. The evidence is overwhelmingly clear. Fossil fuel companies are not benevolent actors. Reporting from The Guardian has shown that top oil and gas majors plan to spend over $100 million a day, every day, for the rest of this decade, exploiting new oil and gas fields that cannot be burned if the world is to stay below 2 degrees of warming, which is more than the 1.5 degree safe limit that's internationally agreed upon. So when an oil and gas major decides to fund climate research or a climate program at an academic institution, it has an agenda. It's making a down payment, so to speak. That agenda is to greenwash its reputation, to skew research outcomes in favor of its interests, and to mooch off of the institution's credible name brand, all in service of shaping public discourse, media coverage, and perhaps most dangerously, policymaking on climate. There is a fundamental conflict of interest between the core business model of fossil fuel companies, continued lethal oil and gas extraction and production, and climate research aims, advancing our understanding of the solutions available to us to achieve a rapid, just, and global energy transition. This conflict poses more than a theoretical risk. All right, the consequences are real world and they're already very well documented. Last year, a study published in Nature revealed that fossil fuel industry-funded centers at Columbia, MIT, and Stanford produced energy research that was overwhelmingly favorable towards natural gas. The centers even went so far as to use rhetoric that was nearly identical to that of fossil fuel industry trade associations in their public messaging. Meanwhile, research that has come out of George Washington University's Regulatory Studies Center, which is heavily funded by the fossil fuel affiliated Koch brothers, went on to support a decision by the EPA to lower its estimate of the social cost of carbon in regulatory decision-making. Yeah. And these companies are pretty clear about their intentions in their internal communications. Documents that were subpoenaed by Congress revealed just how much fossil fuel companies rely on university partnerships to maintain a green image. It's the reason that BP is so set on supporting the carbon mitigation initiative at Princeton. It's also the reason that ExxonMobil has employees with their own office space on university campuses like MIT and Princeton. Yeah, there was a recent Guardian article on that, you should check it out, but one Exxon employee at Princeton reported scouting out information for Exxon's nearby research center from the campus. But Princeton is complicit in that. Princeton lets that office be there. MIT lets that office be there. Our universities and so many of our political leaders are continuing to claim in bad faith that these companies can be meaningful partners in an energy transition. Just this February, BP announced plans to spend billions more on oil and gas production instead of renewables. These companies are exploiting energy, climate, and humanitarian crises for their own financial gain. They have no interest in ending the fossil fuel economy on the timeline we need. So we at Fossil Free Research are demanding that our institutions step up. We're demanding that they cut ties with these companies and put people and the planet over profit. Thank you. And we're making this demand loud and clear. From right here in the Bay Area to Boston, London, and Toronto, students and academics are rising up to defend the integrity of climate research and protect all of our futures. We should expect more from the institutions meant to champion public knowledge of the climate crisis and produce tomorrow's climate leaders. This fight is not limited to college campuses, because the effects of industry-funded climate research are not limited to these campuses. They are pervasive. So today, I'm asking you to look around to the people next to you, to your campus, your alma mater, your community, your organization, your friends and family, and get involved. Together, we are already winning fossil fuel divestment. Now we need to unite and take this fight to the next level with fossil-free research. We need every one of us, every one of you, in this movement for climate justice. The time for fossil-free research is now. Thank you.